only cloud floating along, it's not connected to other clouds, being pushed around very easily. So this question is something I think every seeker can relate to. So Krishna says, no. Any good that we do is never overcome by evil. So if a yogi doesn't make it fully in this life, Krishna says, he begins his next life in an opportune position. So what are things that are opportune? Manifestations of facilitated devotional service would include good health, being born in a pious family, or a family of sufficient means that one doesn't have to struggle to survive and can have the bandwidth to try to understand human life. The fallen yogi gets all of these advantages in the next life. Often, people who are attracted to Krishna consciousness are just continuing a previous journey. Not always, not necessarily, but often. And if we can learn from Arjuna, whatever progress we make in this life is a deposit in a permanent bank account, a permanent spiritual bank account. So most of us are beginning again in this life from where we didn't quite finish, or we didn't do much. Maybe we're just a dog in Delhi that some sadhu gave some prasad to. Who knows? Can't know. But the point is that whatever attraction we have is often predicated on past piety. However, that's the great gift of Srila Prabhupada, is that he had made it possible, even for people with no pious backgrounds whatsoever, to take up the path of Krishna consciousness. Once Srila Prabhupada said, I have created your good fortune. Now you make it your business to share your good fortune with others.
Makes sense.
Okay, is that right? Good question. All right, any other thoughts, questions? Moni?
I don't know why I had this question, but I looked at a profile on Instagram that they were a doctor, and then they must have been very they must have good salary and things like that. But then I also saw that they had to do long shifts, not really happy. So I was thinking, is material opulence a curse or a boon? So I just wanted to know your take on this.
Right, it depends on what we do with it. And again, what is material opulence? Right? Material opulence could be construed as having freedom to do something one likes. Material opulence could be construed as having money. See, even if we have freedom or money or everything, we still have to give it all up. And we can't keep it. It's a fallible asset. When we're young, we have energy and we have time, but we don't have much money. And then when we're middle-aged, we have energy and we have some money, but we have no time. And then when we're old, we have time and we have money, but we have no energy. Okay? So every stage we're incomplete. We are not all opulent. We have a little of this, but not much of that. Right? So there are 6 opulences. Use this word, opulence. Wealth, fame, beauty, strength, knowledge, and renunciation. And why renunciation? How is that an opulence? You could look at a homeless person and say, oh, he's very renounced. How is that an opulence?
Because you're not attached to any of this.
You're not attached, right. So everybody has some of these opulences to some extent. A foolish person will try to increase those opulences in this world as a goal. However, these opulences come easily to a devotee. Krishna says, Tesham nitya viyuktanam yogakshema mahamiham. To those who worship me with devotion, I provide what they need, and I preserve whatever they have. So the idea is that the real opulence in this world is to have a relationship with Krishna. Because Krishna is Sad Aishwarya Purna. He has all 6 opulences in full. So if we know somebody who's got everything, then what do we need to worry about? We're connected with this guy. Okay? All right?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
I was going to, should I talk briefly about Bhrigupati, Bhrigu Muni? So Bhrigu Muni was in an assembly of sages, and they asked this question: there was this Maharaj Parikshit asked this question of Shukadeva. Yes, Lord Shiva is so renounced, but his devotees are very rich. Lord Vishnu is all opulent, but his devotees are very poor. What's going on? And so Shukadeva Goswami narrates the story of Bhrigu Muni. So Bhrigu was asked to determine who is supreme, Brahma, Vishnu, or Shiva. So he decided to go to each of them and commit an offense and see how they would respond. So he went to, when he went to see his father, Lord Brahma, he committed an offense of the mind. And he walked in the room, but he didn't offer his respects. He just walked in like he owned the place. And his father was very angry. Brahma was angry. Disrespectful son, unappreciative. He was so angry he was about to punish him, but his wife calmed him down. And so then he went to see Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva is his brother. And he decided to make an offensive speech. So he said, look at you, all dressed up in rags, covered with ashes, with garland of the skull around your necks, always hanging out with ghosts. You're a strange brother. And again, Lord Shiva got very angry, so angry that he was about to kill him, but his wife intervened. And they say women are less intelligent. So then he went to Lord Vishnu, and he made an offense of the body. Lord Vishnu was lying, and Goddess Lakshmi, his wife, was massaging his feet, and Bhrigu Muni came up to him and kicked him in the chest. And so Lord Vishnu said very mildly, oh my dear Bhrigu, my chest is very hard, and your foot is very soft. Did my chest hurt your foot? So then Bhrigu Muni knew that it was Lord Vishnu who was supreme. So Lord Vishnu did not become angry, but how do you think Lakshmi felt?
Disrespected.
Yeah, she was very angry. She was, in fact, Lord Vishnu said, because my chest has been touched by the foot of a sage, this mark will remain in the Srivatsa. So Lakshmi, from that point on, she decided the Brahmins will never have money. And so this is how Shukadeva answered Parikshit Maharaj's question. Does that mean that a doctor who makes a lot of money is in Maya? Absolutely not. That person is doing his duty, his dharma, and if he learns about Krishna, he can do it for Krishna. So then that opulence that a doctor or a businessman or a famous actress or someone might get, that opulence can be used in Krishna service, can be offered to Krishna. And whether we're opulent or not, our job, whatever it is, we can do it as an offering to Krishna by using the fruits of that work to enhance our spiritual life, to contribute to the temple, to somehow or other facilitate a simple Brahminical type of life where we can really put a focus on our spiritual life. That's opulence. Yes. All right. Thank you. Other questions or thoughts?
We have a question from an online viewer. She's asking, how can we go deeper in Krishna consciousness?
How can we go deeper in Krishna consciousness? Go to bed earlier. That is the answer to all spiritual questions. Why go to bed earlier? Because then,
you can wake up early.
and when you wake up earlier, you can,
Chant better rounds.
and when you chant better rounds, you go,
Back to Godhead.
yes. But in the meantime, you go deeper into your spiritual life, right? Yes, we all have this propensity to want to stay up late and have me time. And at the end of the day, end of the long day, okay, now finally, I've done everything everyone expected of me all day, all day, all day. Now I have some time to do whatever I want. And what is it usually? Scrolling. Or Facebook, yes. So the idea of me time is all right. It's important. It's in the Gita. Krishna says, "Yukta hara biharasa yukta chetasya karmasa." One who is temperate in eating, sleeping, work, and vihar, play or recreation. That person can conquer the miseries of this material life. So, if you go to bed earlier, you can take your me time in the morning. And whatever you do in the morning, you do it better. Right? Because at the end of the day, you're tired, you've really expended all your energy. That's the time to sleep. And then when you wake up, you're refreshed and your brain is at its zenith for the day. So whatever you do at that time, you'll do better. If it's relaxing, then you'll do better. If it's playing a video game, you'll do 3 times better. If it's writing or reading or chanting, or sleeping for that matter, right? If that's what you want to do, you'll sleep better at that time. We all do that, right? But do we want to spend that valuable part of the day sleeping? So that's, for most people, the most practical way to go deeper into spiritual life. If you're going to bed at 11, work it back to 10. If you're going to bed at 10, work it back to 9. If you're going back to bed at 9, work it back to 8:30. It's amazing. It's wonderful. There's nothing better to do at that time than sleep. Because that's nature. You remember, before the Industrial Revolution, before electricity, people would very much go with the cycle of the sun. So when the sun went down, it was just more practical to go to sleep. And because the darkness would last longer than most people need to sleep, most people, this is an amazing fact, most human beings would get up in the middle of the night and do something for an hour, 2, 3 hours, and then go back for what they call the second sleep. And then they sleep until the sunrise. See? So that's actually a natural human cycle. Sleep at the sunset, sleep 3-4 hours, wake up, do something 2-3 hours, sleep another 3-4 hours, and then wake up again. That was how people lived all over the world. But with the Industrial Revolution, there was light, and people could artificially stay up later, which we have been all doing all of our lives. And then they had to be at work early. So there was no question of having a second sleep. So then people started shifting to the more mechanized routine, getting all of your sleep in one go. So these are just some thoughts. It's so important to organize our time. This is one of the symptoms of spiritual advancement, isn't it? I forget the Sanskrit, kala something. Anyway, to use your time, to maximize the use of your time in devotional service. So that's the best way I know to go deeper. And it's really transformative. If you make this effort, you change your circadian rhythms, you as soon as possible at the evening you go to bed. Just as soon as possible. Just turn it off. Whatever I got to do, I'll deal with it tomorrow. I want some me time, I'll have me time in the morning when I wake up. And you'll find that me time that would take you 2 hours to me time yourself, you can do in 2 minutes in the morning. Why? Because there's actually better things to do. What is it about scrolling that's so attractive? You know what it is? You don't have to think. You got your thing thinking for you. Okay. No thinking required. And so the brain is saying, oh, good, a break. But that's really not refreshing the brain, it's just really agitating the brain. What refreshes the brain is sleep. When you sleep, the body releases certain chemicals, hormones that bathe the brain and rejuvenate it. That's what happens in a deep sleep. That's why we need deep sleep to function. When people are being tortured, they are not allowed to sleep. I read a story of a man who was trying to break the world's record for staying awake. And he didn't sleep for, I think the record was 8 days, so he was going to break the record of 8 days with no sleep. And he was describing how horrible it was and how difficult it was. But he broke the record, but then he suffered permanent brain damage as a result. So sleeping is a necessity. I'm not saying less sleep. Less sleep will come naturally if we have something we really want to do. You ever experienced that? Like this morning I woke up and I really wanted to get to Toronto because Toronto is like the greatest place to be. And although my alarm clock, I rarely use an alarm clock, but it was set just in case. But beforehand I woke up, oh boy, today I got to go to Toronto. 2:30 in the morning, half an hour before the alarm clock I was up. Packing and packing. I'm looking for every piece of warm of clothing. And ordering on Amazon, but it was too late. So that's the thing. We want to be at a point where we don't like to sleep because it is not producing anything in Krishna's service. We have to do it. But it's just like evacuating our bowels. Does anyone love to evacuate their bowels? Okay, maybe on some occasions. But it's something we have to do. Right? So when we begin to see sleep like that, okay, this is something I have to do. Let me get it over with. And every hour of sleep you get before midnight is worth 2 hours after midnight. That's a fact. Why? Because the body is tired. So the body gets more tired the later we stay up. Right? We're just pushing and pushing and pushing our body, and we're not giving our body what it needs. You know how cranky you become when you're hungry but you can't get prasad? You get cranky because your body needs something and you're not giving it to it. So that's what it's like staying up late. It actually makes us feel dissatisfied. It weakens our health. It makes us more tense. Because our body needs something but we're not giving it. What are we doing? My friend Satyananda Maharaj calls cell phones the little monsters that steal our spiritual life. The cell phone's like the mind. Are we using it or is it using us? So this is my best advice to you who is asking that question on her cell phone. But it's a very reasonable hour to be asking. Okay, I hope that's helpful. And if you take this seriously, I guarantee you, it will enhance and deepen your Krishna consciousness. Okay? Anyone who... Okay, I'm all high enough. Would you like to know about my other... I have quite a long list of ailments if you'd like to hear.
Thank you. When we are following let's say, regular routine every single day, sometimes, things get a little boring, and then sometimes I mean, you are empowered and you feel like, okay, yeah, it is my service. So for the sake of service, you do it. But sometimes you just don't feel motivated enough.
Mhm.
Um, how to deal with it?
Mhm. We have a service, but we're not feeling sufficiently motivated. Sometimes we love it, and sometimes we have to drag ourselves through it.
Yes.
So this is the influence of the modes of nature. Okay? And devotees are not exempt from the influence of the modes of nature. The devotional service is above the modes, but it can still be affected by the modes. This is discussed in elaborate detail in the third canto by Kapila-dev, where Kapila-dev explains to his mother there's devotional service in all three modes. And then there's permutations of those, a total of 81 different types. So, when we're enthusiastic to do our duty, what mode is that? Goodness. Right, that's a symptom of goodness. We do it because it must be done. When we are anxious about our duty, or we're eager to just get it done, what mode is that?
Passion.
Right. And we really don't feel like doing our duty. And we do the minimum. We cut every possible corner. Why are you laughing? Right. Which mode is that? Yes. So, but it's all devotional service, because even if we're doing it with these mixed emotional approaches, we're doing it for Krishna, right? So it's the service itself is pure. Our ability to do this pure service may be mixed. So the shelter, we take shelter in the service, because those feelings of eagerness, anxiety, or malaise will come and go. They're going to be there as long as we're affected by the modes of nature. Mam chayo vyabhicharena bhakti yogena sevate sagunan samatitatan brahma bhuyaya kapate. When we rise above the modes, then we're on the platform of Brahman, which is a steady spiritual platform. The service remains the same, but our attitude towards it evolves, and our inner consciousness evolves, and our awareness of Krishna evolves. See, Krishna says in the Gita, that one who sees me everywhere and everything in me is never lost. I'm never lost to him, nor is he ever lost to me. Right? So the more that we're seeing Krishna, the less important the externals become, and the less affected we are by the modes. What we see and what we feel is, oh, Krishna has given me some service. I'm grateful to have this service. Let me gladly do this service for Krishna. That becomes our mood.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Okay. But I'm just going to say, in the Gita, in chapter 14, the Lord talks about the modes of nature. And he says, one who is not affected by the modes when they are present, nor hankers for them when they are gone, is in the transcendental position. So if you just go ahead and do your duties, in spite of how these feelings may be there, you're transcending their influence. It doesn't just automatically make them go away, but they no longer control you. They no longer control us. So everything lies in doing our duty. For that reason. That's how we transcend the modes of nature.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Okay. Yeah. It comes with time. This note. So remember, these things are recommended by Rupa Goswami. Utsahan nischaya dharya. Utsahan is enthusiasm. Nischaya is determination, and dharya is patience. Right? So these things need to be on the opposite ends of the spectrum. Enthusiasm and patience, right? So that's why determination is in the middle there, because whether you're enthusiastic or you have to be patient. You're determined and you continue anyway. Sometimes you'll be enthusiastic, sometimes not. And if you're not enthusiastic, you have to be determined, and therefore, well, you have to be, before you have to be determined, you have to be what? Patient. Okay. I'm not very enthusiastic today, but let me be patient and let me just allow the process to work and let me continue in my service. And in order to do that, you have to be determined. Yeah. Yes, sorry.
So how do we choose what we prioritize? Like, for example, I'll tell you, on an afternoon when I come home from school, it's like it's really hectic. I'm like, I have to study, I have to do homework, I have to do my RT, I have to do this, I have to do that. And then sometimes it's like, okay, then I'll push something later, and then it's 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, I'm tired and I can't do anything, you know? So what should we prioritize first? Should it always be Krishna first? Should it be...
You go to school?
Yeah.
Uh-huh. And you stay here at the ashram?
No.
Oh,
Yeah.
but then you go home and do arti?
Yeah.
Do you have a certain quota of japa you chant every day?
I try to hit my 16 rounds.
You go for 16 rounds?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's a big investment. You want to know how big an investment that is? My wife and I have both been chanting 16 rounds for over 50 years. So we calculated, okay, if we had had a minimum wage job at the minimum wages of those times, all those years, and put 2 hours a day for 50 years into a minimum wage job, how much money would we have accumulated? And we calculated it would have been $400,000 without interest, just in wages. Okay? And then we went back and we said, okay, we've been following the 4 regulator principles for 50 years. So how much money have we saved by not smoking or drinking coffee or taking drugs or eating meat or gambling? We came up with a figure, it was $400,000. So financially it was a break even. So it's a big commitment to chant. When do you usually chant?
Usually I try to wake up at 5.
And chant in the morning?
Yeah.
Okay.
But then some days it's like I have to study because I have an exam during the day or I have a test during the day.
Right.
So I'll just do my daily worship in the morning, and then instead of chanting, I'll study. So I'll push it off for later.
Right.
And then it's nighttime and I have 16 rounds to do.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is often where devotees have the difficulty. And the prioritizing gets out of whack. So 2 things. First, it's always best to chant our rounds first. Okay. If we chant our rounds, it's like getting a vaccine. And we're immunized for the day. If we don't chant our rounds in the morning, then all day in the back of my mind, okay, I gotta chant my rounds, but I have to do this. Then the chanting becomes not a joy, but a burden. And then it's easy to put it off, and then we feel, if we don't do it, I feel guilty, all the mode of ignorance comes in. So the more we chant in the morning, the better, first priority. But even more important than that, what's more important than chanting, according to Prabhupada's hierarchy? Health. Right. Wow, it's like ventriloquism. You raised your hand and you spoke, isn't it? So first priority is health, which means getting enough rest, which means getting to bed early. So I would encourage you to take this to heart. Like at 9 o'clock, turn it off, even if you've got things to do in the morning, or things that you still have to do, like study or puja or whatever. Say, okay, tomorrow I'll do it. Is anyone here familiar with baseball? A little bit. Anyone here heard of cricket? Oh, okay. Okay. Well, they're kind of similar in this respect. That in both sports, when there's a pitch and the striker, the batter, gets one swing. You don't get to swing at it Say, oh, let me swing again. It is one swing, right? Yeah. So we get one swing of the day. We get one shot. And then whatever we've done, good or bad, it's done, it's finished. We can't go back and change it. So then the question becomes, what's the best way to make the most of the swing that we have? So if we push ourselves to the point where our health suffers, that is the biggest mistake. So the best thing to do is rest early, rise early, and chant early. Then you will feel that day a success no matter what else happens. Now, exception might be like in midterms or finals, when there's really a lot of studying and work to do, schoolwork. So at those times, even if you have extra schoolwork, and you must do it, better you rest on time and get up and do your schoolwork in the morning, early morning. A day like that, you may have to push off your job until later. But you'll find that if you do that, you're studying 2 or 3 times faster, because your brain is so much more ready.
Relaxed.
Yes. This is your problem, all you people in this room. You know what your problem is? You think you're goddamn invincible. That's it.
It's so great to hear.
It's very obvious to me, and it's also very obvious to me that you don't see it. So don't worry, you'll get old and then you'll understand. Pushing the body is a mistake, even though you might feel you can do it. Just be good. That's the mode of goodness. Be good to your health, and then you'll be able to function at a high level all the time. Okay, so those are Prabhupada's 4 priorities. First priority is health. Let's get enough rest, eat properly, exercise. Second priority is sadhana. Chanting japa, especially. That's the king of sadhana, most important. And the hardest because of our minds, and that's why it's so important. Third priority is what? Seva, service. So your puja, that would be your third on your priority list. And even your schoolwork, the seva for Krishna. And then the 4th priority? Reading. It's important. Whenever you have time, Prabhupada said, whenever you have time, open any one of my books on any page and just read for 1 minute, 2 minutes, whatever you can read, because sugar tasted on any side is sweet. It's nice to make a systematic study of Prabhupada's books, but even if you don't have the time or bandwidth for that, just every day open something, read something. Here. Okay. Yes?
Why us humans are so gravitated and easier to follow the path that is painful? So in pain, I mean, like, let's say drugs, alcohol, and even materials. Like, we know that it's hurting us, but we keep doing them.
Yeah.
And then I realized that sometimes when you said, like, I harm my own body, like, if that makes sense. Like, even last night, I wasn't sleeping, even though my body was like screaming to me that, like, I need sleep, I need rest. I was keep pushing it. And then why do I keep harming myself?
So this question is asked by Arjuna to Krishna in what chapter of Bhagavad Gita? Who knows?
I don't
Sir,
know.
do I have to go for
Yes.
Bharati?
Yes. Okay. Hare Krishna. Yeah, we make this the last question. We'll join you shortly. Okay. So who knows what chapter of Bhagavad Gita Arjuna asked this question of Krishna? Does anyone remember? Why do we do things that are even harmful for ourselves? What is it that forces us? No one remembers?
I think the 3rd.
Yes, chapter 3. Why do people do things even though if they're self-defeating? And Krishna says, it is lust only, which is born of the mode of passion. It is the all-devouring, conquering enemy of this world. So what is that lust? Well, lust doesn't just mean carnal lust. It means all kinds of material desires. And endeavoring for something material in the mode of passion drives us to the point of abusing our physical being. See? So if we transform our desires to Krishna, Krishna, I just want to know you. You know, if people are so enthusiastic to make money, make a name for themselves in this world, so enthusiastic. If we just had 1/10 of their enthusiasm for being Krishna conscious, imagine how deep our spiritual life would become. Just if we had a little fraction of that drive. So how do we get the eagerness to see Krishna? Prabhupada said it takes many years to get to that point where spontaneously we want to be with Krishna. And we just want to think of Krishna, and we really care less and less about the other things of this world. So the example is given that for a young boy or girl, they may read about or hear about being in love, but they don't know what that is like. They can't know what it's like because they've never been in love. Right? It's just theoretical. In the same way, we don't know what it's like to love Krishna. But the quality of the experience of being in love is such that once you have been in love, you know what it's like and you can never forget. Right? So you actually have been in love and you know, and you will never forget that. So in the same way, when we love Krishna, that will never change. And then the things of this world will not drive us anymore. Just will be driven by, wow, Krishna's so amazing. And Krishna's so kind to let me have this service. Krishna's so kind to let me wash his dishes. Krishna's so kind to let me chant his name. And then we'll be overwhelmed with gratitude, appreciation all the time. That's where we're headed by practicing sadhana in regulation. Because Nitya Siddha Krishna Prema Sadhu Kabanoya. Loving Krishna is dormant in the heart. So when we do things that we can't do for Krishna, these things, that just slows our spiritual advance. And it's because we have other desires besides pleasing Krishna. And that's all right. It's expected. It really doesn't matter. Because they will be cleansed away if we just remain steady in our sadhana. Okay, that's the great gift Srila Prabhupada has given us. You don't have to be a great devotee, we just have to be a good devotee. What is a good devotee? Someone who chants their rounds, someone who serves enthusiastically, and more than anything else, someone who goes to bed early. All right, it's 6 o'clock now?
Yes.
So let's stop there? So, should we stop?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, we have divine dialogues at 6:30.
Yes.
Okay. All right, meanwhile we can go have Arti. Anyone like to go or has time? Okay, thank you very much for